Hello, it's day 2 of Utrecht Summer School, the Post-Human Glossary, and I'm going to ask you, Kay, what questions did today raise for you?
I thought it was going to be a really tough day because it was talking about concepts and philosophical concepts, which I'm not that familiar with, but I had a much better grasp than last year, which was really good. And the question that Rosie asked actually, that kind of stuck in my mind was, what are we doing about fascism? There's something about fascism, talking about the history of fascism and the rise, the neo-fascism that we're seeing across Europe and that we can relate to at home, I think. And for me, it really resonated because post-Brexit, I posted something on Facebook that was basically making connections between the things that were happening and the rise of fascism in sort of pre-Nazi Germany. And I got a hell of a lot of stick for that post, massive stick, but I thought the things needed saying at the time, and I think they still do. So I think the question for me is, there is this thing about knowing your history and knowing the past and understanding and learning from that. So I think there's a job of work there for me to do as part of the whole mapping cartography stuff. And also the question for me is about how to sort of keep raising this awareness without consciousness raising, but getting people to sort of think for themselves and work in affirmative ways. How about you?
Okay, so Rosie, as you've said, touched base with that whole post-war history and said a couple of times all roads in Europe lead back to fascism, and that really resonates with me because I'm not the post-Cold War generation. I'm a generation that remembers the Cold War, and as an English-Polish person that has real resonance, and it moved me last year and it's moved me this year as well. And one of the things she said, which raised a question for me, was that the curriculum is the first thing that fascists take hold of, and how can I start this year's curriculum module from that point? And then the second thing was about hierarchies, that, you know, one of the things that fascism is really good at is building hierarchies, and she described hierarchies as the mechanism of capture. I work within a hierarchy and I've struggled a bit with that this year, so I want to think about how we can address ways of working in a rhizomatic world, in a non-hierarchical rhizomatic world. See you tomorrow.